Hello everyone, happy Halloween. I'm Laura Rogers and this is SharePoint Power Hour. I have Joelle Jopson here. Say hello.
Hello, everybody. Happy Halloween.
And we've got some silly stuff going on today. We're going to have a little fun. We're going to do some column formatting concepts in SharePoint. Column formatting, list view formatting, and I've got this fun thing going on right now where I put some automation on my hue lights so that whenever you tweet while I'm doing Power, the lights change to random colors. So just because it's fun, because it's Halloween. And unrelated to SharePoint, I used if this then that, ifttt.com to do that. All right, so the concept is today is this list. It's a column formatter tool that you can download. It's one of those free PNP on GitHub. It's one of this community area where people can, Microsoft puts code out there, users put code out there, and so it's a free tool that I installed in my farm, and I wanted to show it to you and show you how it works. And we have a fun little Halloween theme going on the list that we're customizing. So it's a list of I think Chris is here in the chat. Let's see. But it was his idea. Of course, he came up with Halloween weapons and what monster you kill with the weapons and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing. The fun thing about Power Hour is that we are chatting the whole time, and we're in Slack. I have a Slack channel, and we ask questions and have discussions the whole time. So in the description of this video on YouTube, you actually have a link to how to get to Slack to log in or to go request to join if you haven't been yet. All right, so the lights turned green, so that's fun. Let's go ahead and I'm going to talk about, again, I put a bunch of resource links here in Slack, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about all the this concept and how to install it. All right, so I put so many links out there. I got to remember which one to start with. It is I think it's the first one that I put. Yeah, column format. Yeah, easy editor for modern list view column formatting. All right, I'll go ahead and share my desktop. Okay, so this is in GitHub. It's under this SP Dev Solutions thing, and it's called an easy editor for modern list view column formatting. It gives you a file to install. There are options for you if you don't have the ability to install apps on your farm, but I went ahead and, since this is just my demo farm, I went ahead and installed this in my app catalog in my farm. So I have that pulled up somewhere. Let me see. Here it is. My app catalog. And if you've never been to your app catalog and you are an admin, I'll show you just real quick how to get there. Oh, good Lord. And it's being weird. Okay, so you got to go to the SharePoint Admin Center. And I only know of how to do it in the old school SharePoint Admin Center. I don't think that it's been added to the modern one yet. I doubt it. Yeah, let's just go over here real quick. So I know how to get straight over there. Okay, we got to go to apps here on the left. And if you don't have an app store, it will tell you that you need an app catalog, sorry. It will tell you that you need to create one, but it's basically just a site collection that you create. So I just called mine, it's like sites/app catalog or something like that. So once you have an app catalog, then you go to the app catalog. Let me go back to where I was. This is my app catalog, and there you go. And once you're there, it just says basically this website, the column formatter that I showed you all, provides a link to you. It provides a download. So all you do is just upload the file that it provides you on that GitHub site. And you upload it in here, and it says column formatter. So now it's in my app catalog. So what does that mean? That means I can go to just any page now. I'll just go create a new page anywhere in my whole farm, and I actually have this new web part called column formatter. And so this column formatter web part is what I'm going to use as the tool to use this little WYSIWYG sort of interface to have sort of a business user way of formatting columns. So it's the column formatter web part from the from this thing that I installed off of GitHub in my app catalog. All right, so now that that's out of the way, we'll go back to the page that I already created that I had this on. So I inserted this web part on my page, so you all see my screen. This is the column formatter. I have the ability, when I create these, it basically just creates a JSON file, .json, and I can save those to a library in my site, and I can save those to just my hard drive or wherever I want to. So when I open one, I can actually go open one from a local list, from a library, from a file. So it gives me the ability to go open that JSON file. All right. Then, so I'll go ahead and start new and show you kind of what this looks like and what we're doing here. The first thing to do when you start with this formatter tool is pick what type of column that you're dealing with. And depending on the type of column that you pick, you're going to have different options to do this custom formatting. So I'll go ahead and pick choice, and you see that for a choice field, they have some pre-created options. Now, if I choose start from scratch, it just gives me this code interface. So this is almost exactly like using just the little pane in your SharePoint list for formatting the column. So it doesn't give you that much. I mean, just a little bit that you can kind of have a visual interface as to what you're doing with some sample data. But I think the power of this tool is going to be more the little templates that it gives you. So I kind of already did a demo in Power Hour about how to run flow by creating items, by creating a button in a SharePoint list, and I even wrote a blog post about that. So I'm not going to get too into the start flow one, but let's take a look at severity first. So take a look at severity, and then this gives me, now we've seen this before when column formatting first came out. This concept first came out in SharePoint. We did a whole Power Hour about it, and we saw that these were some of the options that it gave you just in Microsoft's sample data of, ideas for formatting your list. So what you can do is customize it to what the data is going to be in your list, so that it's got your words in it. So low is going to be, so you just type whatever words you want it to say. So pending or something like that. So then once you put your words in it, you can see this side by side. So I could just flip to code view if I want to, but I like the side by side view. That lets me see the code that it just generated. So as I'm typing different words in here, it's actually changing the code. So I'll put this, I'll change this to none or something like that. So if I want this icon for low to be, if it has the word none, see, it's putting the word none in my code. So then once you get this code generated, I can click customize, which will really just give me the ability to directly edit the code, which I can do anyway. So I'm not sure why I would want to do that. It just basically toggles, it just toggles the code on and off. Now, the first thing, of course, that I thought that I would do after putting these in here would be to take that code and copy it and then go to my list and then go to, I'll just show you kind of the long way of doing it. Go to the list, go to the column formatting and paste it in there. So like copy that, go to some other list, not this one, and go to, let's see, department, just whatever the column happens to be. I'm just showing you how to get to the formatting. Of course, that one doesn't have formatting. Format this column. And then you paste in the JSON. So that's the long way of doing it, is that's where the column formatter is. It's also in the list settings. When you go to the column itself, this is where your column formatting could go to. So like these are software, hardware, and login. And I could go to my, let's see, go to my code and do like software. Oh, I took away the little pane where, because I switched to advanced mode. That's okay. Watch, start all over. There we go. Now, see, I got it back. So I've got like software, hardware, and login were the three things for my list. And so now I put those words in there, I'll go grab that code and flip back over to this. This is just another way to get to that same pane of column formatting. The other column formatting way to get there is a lot easier because you can actually see what you're doing as you're formatting it. You can preview it as you format it. Now I just clicked OK and like SharePoint completely freaked out on me. There we go. Okay, so there's the idea. So hardware, software, and then so there are only a couple of items in this list, but of course I could get back in there by going to format this column, and there's the code. Now I'm going to wipe this code out, and there's another way that I can do this, which is a lot easier. So from this tool, all I have to do is, once I get it the way I want it, I can do save as. Now I can save this, I can just copy it to the clipboard, like go paste it in Notepad or something. But watch this, I can apply it straight to a site column in that site, or I can apply it straight to a local list field. So if I go local list field, I can actually pick that, that help tickets list and pick the field. So here, this was category. So it's the category of the help tickets, and click save. So then when I do that, I don't have to do the copying, the pasting code. I can just, I'll just go refresh this. And I can see that it directly from the tool, it put it in the column. Isn't that cool, Joelle? Who knew, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I was muted.
That's okay. So yeah, so that's there's a couple of ways of saving it. Now there's another one where you can save it straight to a library. I'm going to call it something. So this one little snippet of code, I can call it help desk category. And that way, now I've got help desk category. This code is in its own file. So now it's saved, it's preserved. So I don't have to worry about losing it if, I've got a backup of it in there. So then when I go do new from the column formatter, I can just go open it, and I can go open it from a local library, and I have to say what column type it is, which is kind of weird, and I have to go say what the name of the file is, which is weird. It doesn't like prompt you to see a list of the files and just click one to open. You actually have to type the name of the file to open it up. So it's a little rudimentary, but it does the trick. So do you all kind of get the idea? Do you all have any questions so far? All right, I'm just going to keep going. I know, yeah, the Halloween banner's covering the top portion of the screen, but I don't think there's like a giant white space up there, so I don't think there's anything important. I guess let me know if there's something specific up there. That there's absolutely nothing up there that this banner's covering that you need to see for any of these demos. So
Yeah, and it looks like it's even covering, you can even see modern demo, it's just covering above that, so.
yeah, okay. I was just complaining about all this to Joelle about all this white space at the top of my site. So let's get a little splash of color. All right, so we saw some of the options for choice. Tiny Map actually gives you can put cities in it. That is cool. Look at that. So I'll put look at that. It immediately shows Birmingham there. And I'll put where Joelle lives. And
it's really cool.
That is cool. So that means that your field in SharePoint can have a city and state in it, and it would show it on the map. Pretty neat. Let's look to see if it will. Let me try and think of a specific address. I don't want to put my address in here, but trying to think of just some address that's not mine, like Main Street or something. Interesting. So it does. It gets it like it has a whole address that it will do in there. Okay. So you can have a field in your SharePoint list that has an address, and it will actually show the map of that address in this column. Is that awesome? You all like that? I know a lot of customers that have, I can think of just one off the top of my head, right, Joelle?
Yeah.
That have this need to have a display of maps of where a bunch of their company's locations are. So that's pretty huge. So you just take this, and then once you get it looking the way you want, which there isn't much to do necessarily, you just save it and save straight to the column that actually has the addresses in it. Yeah, that's neat. I know I've got a SharePoint list somewhere in my demo tenant that has actual addresses in it that I did for some Powerups demo where I was doing map stuff. Maybe I can find that. The idea is there are a whole bunch of settings in here, so I want to get through a lot more of them, and I don't want to get stuck on this one. But okay, so then another thing, if it's a choice, is I already mentioned start flow, but Twitter pick is going to be if you have an actual Twitter handle in the column. So that's what it would show. It would go render that Twitter pick. Okay, so Joe is asking where the actual file is that I downloaded. I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't know if you all want to poke around in there and help him find that JSON download, but that site is definitely where I started. It's got a lot of text and a lot of stuff to read through there. So I don't remember exactly where the download was. It was on that site though. All right, date time gives you the ability to say whether something's overdue. It's got overdue. Let's see what that looks like. So the overdue dates will be in red. So just basically it's going to compare them to today. This is something, again, that people have historically always wanted to be able to do in SharePoint. And even it was really hard to do even with data view web parts to get the code right to make it look at today and compare those dates to today. So this is pretty huge. So this is comparing just some date field to today. And then I'm just going to start new again and go to the other date kind. And this is overdue task. So it's looking at two columns. So it's looking at the date and looking at whether it's complete or not. So you're saying if it's overdue, if it's past today and it's not complete yet, then it shows it in red. So that's pretty huge. So it just looks at status. So current fields, you're going to apply this to the actual date field. And then this status is where you're going to, this is where you're going to type the name of the other field that you want it to look at. So I can go see if, let's see if I've got in my little help tickets thing. I'm going to go add the status column real quick. See, it's got ticket due as a calculated column, and I'll add status. Status is an existing site column. All right, and then I can take status and move it. Isn't that cool? That's so awesome. Status and move it over, save my view, and put a couple of values in there. See, it doesn't have complete in here, but it's got, you know, you're not going to necessarily have all the exact things that they have in their code, right? So I'll do another one. I'll add another row here real quick. Status not started, and it is not due till tomorrow. And then this one is clearly not started, and it's over. This would be overdue. So now let's take this column and show you how that would work. So status is the name of the column here. Let's go make sure that that's the actual name of the column, because remember, it matters what you called it when you first created it. So this actually says field equals underscore status. So that's the actual name of the field, underscore status. So I think I'm going to have to use that as in my code, right? Because it's very, very particular. Okay, my field is underscore status, and I'm going to have my values are not going to be complete and in progress, but if something's done, I'm going to say that it is reviewed. Ooh, the color changed again. So, yeah. Okay. And then I'm going to take this and save it to a local list field. Go to my help desk. And I want to put it on the date field, because I just happened to notice that, oh, see, this is definitely a bug. Okay, it doesn't have the actual calculated column as a field to pick from here, but I can take my code and just copy it and then go over here to my calculated column, and I can put the formatting in here. So that's going to be one little just kind of weirdness there. Oh. So it's probably, is it looking for it to say due date? Let me see. Because it's not putting anything now. Let me just save that, see if it makes a difference. Current field. Yeah, it looks like it's comparing the current field to now. Oh, but maybe it is confused because it's a calculated column. I put another one. I'll show you another one that I did that I changed to be a calculated, to put the code on a calculated column, and it worked. So maybe it's just this particular kind that it's not working on. Good to know. All right, now let's go look at some of these other ones. So we looked at choice and date. Hyperlink, it has action link start flow mail to. So for mail to, I can have, it will actually pull up a new email. So I can make the, I'm not going to make the text say send, I can make the text say send mail contact or something like that. I can make it have an icon or have text link like that. It's got a lot of little settings in here. And I can even change my, there are a million different icons you can change it to in here. Pretty neat, huh? Vesa put his own name in there. All right. So the colors are changing. Ooh. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Now, so that's gonna just put a link next to somebody's name. That's the hyperlink one. Now let's go look at a couple of these other ones, and we'll go look at some of the fun stuff we did in our Halloween list. Where did I put it? Here we go. Oops, no, I didn't mean to do a new page. Silly. There we go. A lookup has got the same options as choice. A number has got some cool stuff. So number is going to have trending data bars, donuts. Look how neat this is. Isn't that awesome? It's got a percentage and it's displaying it as a donut. And you're going to say what the low and high are. It's even got where you can change the colors. Ooh, LSU. There we go. LSU's playing against Alabama this weekend, so that'll be interesting since I went to LSU and live in Alabama. All right. So here's where, do you want it to show the actual value, show the percentage? So that's a cool one that you can do with numbers. Let's go look at trending. Lets you do just this little high-low option. So it's got a previous and a current. So the current is going to be the column that you apply this to. And the previous, you have to tell it the name of another column. So you have to have like a previous value in another column to compare the current value to. So it's going to tell you if the number's going up or down. So if last year's sales were $1,000 for this product and the current year sales are $2,000, it's going to show you a little up arrow. So that's how that works. And then the number's got one more. It's got data bars, and we're going to go ahead and flip over to our little Halloween list and show you what we've done with some of these. So we're going to start with the data bars concept. So the data bars, you get to say what your low and high are. So in my case, I want the high to be, the most it can be is 10. And then you can say whether you want to show you the value or percentage. Let's go and look at what we've done in our list. Okay, this is our Halloween weapons list. And what we have is whenever we have a new weapon, we have the number of the quantity that we have. The target is going to be what kind of Halloween character that weapon kills. The price of the weapon, damage that it does, 0 to 10. A picture of the weapon, whether it's out of stock, that's a yes or no field. And then that's a choice field actually. And then a delivery date so that we could have, I wanted to have a date field in here to look at. And then, so that's what these columns are. So what we did is the damage column is this one. So I took this damage code and all I did was say, let me go back to the code, was put a high as 10. And then I can do side by side. And I can, like I said, you can either just grab this code or do save as and save it straight to that field. And this is a SP field data bars is actually the class that it's pointing to make it show that way. So that's my damage. And then, so I'll show you some of these other ones that I've done. The picture. So we haven't talked about picture yet. So the way the picture works is I go pick picture here. And this is kind of neat. So I could make a picture that starts a flow, like you click on the image itself and it runs a flow. But this round image is kind of nice. So it takes whatever your picture is in your SharePoint list and it puts it as a little round icon. Really nice, huh? So I've got this code, just I didn't do anything to tweak it. You can change, border radius and things like that. But what I did was I'll take the code off and you can see what it looks like without it real quick. Go format the column. This is the picture of the weapon. So I took it off. So you can see how they're all just square. Some of them are clear, they're PNGs, and some of them actually have a background. So you can tell that when it rounds them, the ones that actually have a background look kind of better because the other ones just look a little cut off. But what I do is I'll just take this code, save it to a local list field, Halloween weapons, and then choose my weapon picture. All right, and then I'll go refresh my page and look at that. So now they're all these cute little rounded pictures. All right, another one we have is, so this is quantity. Now for quantity, we didn't do anything yet. So let's go look. That's a number field. So notice I'm not really saving any of these. I'm just kind of changing them as I go. So quantity, if I wanted to do trending, I'd have to have two numbers. I'd have to have like last week's quantity and the quantity now. But I can do just something like a donut where the most quantity that I could have is, 50 or something like that. And you can display it as a donut or a pie, say how many pixels. Again, change, like I said, you can change the color. And then I'll go ahead and save that one to that quantity column. Are you guys thinking of cool things that you can do with this nice little easy editor so you don't have to spend hours of your life trying to write code when, we're not developers? What do you think? Okay, so I saved that to, so you could tweak it some more and then save it again because it remembers where you just saved it to. Did you notice that? Okay, now I'll go refresh my list and ooh, look at my quantity. So I can see which ones are, getting too low. Now effective target, that's going to be that is going to be the choice field. So that's choice, and then that is severity. So all I did was, just like I mentioned at the beginning, I typed all the names of the different monsters, and therefore it shows them with those different little severity codes next to them. All right, the price is also a number. I'm not necessarily going to do anything based on price, at least not unless I run out of time. I don't have anything off the top of my head. Damage we already covered. Now out of stock. So out of stock is actually a choice field. So it's a choice field, but I found a cool setting in here that I wanted to do with a yes no field. It actually has little checkboxes that it will show there. So the yes no is just simply going to show a checkbox if it's yes and unchecked if it's no. It doesn't let you actually interact with them like it used to with those old school classic task lists that you could actually check the box in the list, but it looks like a checkbox. So what I did was this wouldn't work on a choice field. It actually had to be a Boolean yes or no. So what I did just for fun, just to be able to show you all this, is I added a new column. What did I call it? Let me go look. Yeah, I just called it Boolean.
Hey, Laura, they want to know if any of this carries over to Powerups.
No, none of this carries over to Powerups at all. It's completely unrelated. Just the concept of understanding logic and if-then conditions is all it is, just conceptual. But yeah, no, they're two completely different tool sets. Julia says, will the formatted column show in the list web part? Yes. I just had a customer ask me that the other day and I tested it, and yes, it does. Looks pretty neat. You can slap this on the home page of your site. So now I got this Boolean. So what I did, well, let me go ahead and just save my view. In my list settings, I wanted this to be a Boolean so that I could see what that formatting looks like. So I created this calculated field called Boolean. And all I did was I just said if out of stock equals yes. Now out of stock is a choice field, which is just text. It's just storing it as text. So I said if out of stock equals yes, then true, otherwise false, because a Boolean just needs to have the value true or false. So that's what I did to set up this Boolean field. So the Boolean field isn't an actual field, it's just calculated off of out of stock, just to show you two different ways of displaying this concept of yes and no. So you can see some of these are checked. All right, now let's go look at, so I did the yes and no. Let's go look at the people field. So the person field lets me, so current user is just going to, all it does is it looks at who the currently logged in user is and puts your name in red. That's about it. So yeah. So when you put that on here, I just put that on this modified by column, and now it looks at the logged in user and puts your name in red. So the items that have your name in whatever your people field is, it doesn't have to be modified by or created by. It can be, you know, project manager or something. But if it's a people field, that's what it'll do. And then another option we had here for people was the little round image, which is really neat looking. Look at that. So we'll take this little round image and I'll put it in here, modified by, and go refresh my page. Ooh, I turned purple. See, it messes with the green screen. There we go. Ooh, I just made it brighter. When it goes too dark, I was just using the app, my app to change the color back. All right. So now, if you don't have a user icon, it just shows a gray little box, but it doesn't display your name next to it. I think that was that one of the options? Let's see. Go back to that. No, it doesn't have really any options. It doesn't have an option to make it show your name or something. It's just gonna only show your picture. So this is probably not the best idea if you have an organization with a bunch of people with no pictures. Amanda said that's a good idea. Could you do that to the money? Red for negative numbers and green for positive. Yeah, we'll do that last if I have time. We'll see. But yeah, that's pretty simple. So you could do a calculated column. I think that's what you're saying, Amanda, is you could do a calculated column to say if price is, I don't know if price is not going to be a negative number. If price, whatever the number field is greater than 0, then true, otherwise false. And that way it would show this. Anyway, so yeah, you could do that based on that type of column. All right. Dun, dun, dun. Change it back to white. Okay. Now, the next kind that we have is picture. So no, I already covered picture. I think I covered all the different types. Let me look at person one more time. Okay. Mail to is going to create a link that is next to the person's name to send them an email. So I can change what I want the icon to look like. And remember, if you can figure out how to kind of tweak the code in here just by poking around and changing things, you know, you completely customize this to make it do whatever you want. But that's what I love about this tool, is that you don't have to know code at all. You really can just use exactly what they have. or maybe just change like one little small thing about it. But yeah, this will let you take a people field and then have the mail to, and this is the subject and body that it is hard coded that it's going to have when you click that mail to link. Lisa says, so does it require a separate column, or you can format? So yeah, Lisa, none of these require a separate column. So the only ones that I've done so far that require a separate column are the one that was for a date, where you had an overdue task where it needs to know if it's completed and the date is passed versus just the date being before today, or the one that had the comparison with the number that did trending, because it needs to look at another number and compare it to the current number. All right, so trending, you could technically, instead of having it compare to previous, you could just have it compared to some hard-coded number. So this is where it says previous. So I don't know if y'all would just go like type the number here. I'd have to go play around with that. Let me see. I'm not sure. Yeah, well, let's see. Did that work? I don't know. See, I don't know the syntax well enough to know if I did that correctly. Anyway, undo. It definitely takes, it's definitely time consuming to start getting into that, because especially when like me, not a programmer, I'm not sure where I would even change that value. All right, another concept. So just let me know if you have any other questions about this tool and how it works. Just remember that you can save them to a file, like a local library. You can save it to your hard drive. And I could actually go take one that is already in a local list that I want to tweak. So another thing I can do is go to Halloween Weapons and go click quantity, and so it takes the existing thing and puts it back into this editor, so then I can change it like on the fly and then save it directly back to that column. So that's really nice. So that way I don't have to use that little ugly formatter thing right there in the list. Lisa says, what does promote mean? Oh, KB says show formatting options for text fields. Sure, I'll do that. Lisa, where are you seeing promote? Sorry, I missed that. I didn't see where promote was. So text is going to be the same thing that it had for choice field, start flow, tiny map, severity, and Twitter pick. I can show you what the Twitter pick looks like just for fun. So I can just do that real quick. Add column, text. Now, I don't know if I need to put the at in it or not. Let's see what that looks like. All right, so now I've got a text column with Twitter. So I'll put Twitter pick, and then I'll put mini here. And do I want to link it to their profile, show it on a tooltip, save as, save it to a local list field, go to my Halloween Weapons, Twitter field, and let's go see what that looks like. Getting way too many columns here. No, so I think it doesn't want the little at next to it, but it doesn't seem to like those. I'm not sure why, but yeah. I don't think that that's something you'd normally be doing in SharePoint, though, putting Twitter in there. Oh, Lisa says in the gray bar, new, send by email, and promote. Oh. So that was one of the person ones?
No, she was just asking about like at the top of the page, the new send by email promote at the on the page itself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. I thought you were talking about something related to what we're doing. Sorry. No, yeah, that's just a new feature on actual site pages in your sites. It lets you, and it also does this when you add new pages now too, whether you want to add it to navigation, post this new page as news, or send this in email, or just get the link. So yeah. Okay. That color changing thing is fun, right? Okay. That's dumb. I pretty much covered all these. So now let's go look at anything else fun that I missed. That tiny map thing was really cool. I wish I could remember off the top of my head where I had that list that has little fake addresses in it. It was definitely a Power App that I did, but I don't know where it would be. Joelle, can you just search through my Wonderlore tenant for just the word Birmingham or Atlanta, or I think Montgomery was one of the ones that I had in there. Just see if you see any kind of lists like that while I'm talking.
Sure.
Okay, thanks. All right, now we also have this new, did y'all see this new thing that they announced? The actual entire list view formatting concept. So this is, and I put a link to all this in the chat. And I think I already, yeah. So this is the concept here. So this is a SharePoint list of products, and this is how you could make the list look. Isn't that awesome? Where you can completely customize it, again, using JSON. So here is an example of conditional formatting with a list. And this is how you could, this is a list, and this is how you can make it look. So it gives you a couple of little, so this is a overdue items, severity warning concept. And then they've got a couple of just really, really simple examples there. So it's the format current view. So then let me go back to here. View. This is all the view formatting samples. So it's just got the names of them here. And it's going to show, ooh, that is pretty. It's going to show what each one looks like there in the, on the page as you click on it. That's awesome. I'm going to try, can I try that one? So I have to go grab.
Hey, Laura, I put a link in that has some addresses, a link with some addresses.
Oh, okay, thanks.
I don't know if that's the one you want, but just...
Probably. Yep, that's the exact thing that I was looking for. Okay, so I'm going to take the thing that I just did in with the map, and I'm going to do a new, it's going to be text, tiny map, and then I'm going to save as, apply to, ooh, this is only going to be a list on the site that I'm on, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to grab the code and then just go to that other site. So I'm just going to go to this address column. Why don't I have the ability to format it? Let me see. Address. Oh, is it multiple lines of text doesn't let you format it. What if I just change that to a single line of text? I wonder if I'm going to lose all my data. Yeah, we'll see. Nope, I didn't lose my data. Nice. Paste. Oh, that is so cool. Look at that. Do you all see that? That's awesome. So it just, yeah, I've got actual addresses in here, and it just shows little maps of every single one of them. Now, if you wanted to have a column that still shows the actual address, and then have another column that shows the map, you'd have to create an extra column, and you'd have to make the code point to, instead of current field, you'd have to make it point to like the name of that other field. So I'm not going to do that. I don't necessarily have time to do that right now, but that's the concept. You could still do that if you wanted to still see the actual words of what the address is. Or you could create a calculated column that shows you the words that are in the address column. A couple of different ways to do that. Okay, that's really neat. Okay, I'm glad we got to show that. Thanks, Joelle. All right, so then this, we already looked at that. So this is another sample of, this is a list view. Isn't this awesome? This is what you can do and make your list view look like this. That seems very time consuming, but that's a template that you can download, that you can just tweak to put your column names and things like that in it. So let's go look at this tile format thing, and I'm going to see if I can find the code here. Oh, here's the JSON.
Hey, Laura, we have a couple of things.
Okay.
It looks like maybe the link to what you're showing there, is that already in the resources at the top that you added? I think they might be the link that the what you were just showing.
Oh, yeah, all of it is, yeah.
Okay. So, and then the other thing is, somebody was asking, is the tool only for COM and hub sites? Or is it for team
the
sites?
tool's for, once you install this tool, it's for everywhere in your entire tenant. So it is for only modern views of lists. You're not doing this in your classic lists and libraries. You'd have to be looking at it in the modern view. But it has nothing to do with what type of site it is.
And then if you click on the Google Maps, does it, or when you click on the map, does it open in Big Maps or Google?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Oh yeah, it does. That's cool.
In Google? Not good. Cool.
Yeah. Neato. Yeah, I went out and found just a bunch of generic addresses in all these different cities so that I could do, demos and stuff with maps. So, yeah. That is fun stuff. Okay, so we were looking at this, not the retail one, but this one. Okay, so these are all the files that I'm going to need. So let's see what this, I can download all these files. How do I just download them individually? I'm not a programmer, clearly. Actually, one of my customers is going to need this one, this tile thing. Oh, so there's my code. Cool. So that is on, let's see, copy. Oops, I need to just copy the code, not the entire web page. There. Copy, and then go over to SharePoint, my Halloween weapons. And now it'll also be interesting to see how this plays along with the column formatting, if it conflicts, you know what I mean? So I'll go to this another view. I just created a copy of the same view just so I wouldn't be messing with my all items view, and I'm doing formatting. Now I'm probably missing a couple of things. I'm missing the actual files that it's referencing, and I'm missing like any of those files that exist in that folder. So there's nothing showing right now. So it's gonna also have a README file that I didn't read. So you need to have a title field. Yeah, icon. Oh, I need to have an icon column that is a single line of text. I need to have a hyperlink column. So this is going to be good for like your promoted links lists, your old school promoted links lists. And then this is whether you want the link to open them in a new tab or not. So you can't just do what I did and just slap it on any list and expect it to look like a bunch of tiles. So this is going to be, this icon needing to be a single line of text is interesting. Because you would think the icon would need to be a hyperlink or something like that. Let me see. I think a lot of these are actually going to have these sort of samples that you need to have in place. Let's see. I'm reading some of your questions. Yeah, the Joelle, when I posted that in Slack, I posted it as a like a little note or something so that it would look like something, you know, so you can copy and paste it so it doesn't try and render all those as hyperlinks.
Yeah, I just pasted it again just so that they had it.
Y'all just go to the Power Hour channel and just scroll up and you can see the list there. Like making Joelle do extra work because you don't want to scroll up.
Oh, no, it's fine. I just
so funny. Okay. So all of these little view samples are going to have view requirements that explain to you how to use it. So this one is, I clicked on generic tile format. This one is going to be multi-line view. And it just basically gives you, see, it's going to have just a few lines down the page, which the old newsletter view, remember the old styles? It used to do that. These are much better than the old styles. It's just a little bit more work than just setting a style. Ooh, that is cool. Look at that. So what does this one need? That is really pretty. Oh my gosh. So you need to have a title, job title, company, email, phone, street address, city, state, zip code, picture, and notes. You need to have columns with all these names. And then, you know, a contact list in SharePoint is going to have a lot of those same exact ones, right? So if you create a contact list and just pretty much add a picture column, then you'll get a lot of what, I don't only have 2 minutes left, but you'll get pretty much all those columns for the most part that it has. So here is a, so what you do is you go get a list and make sure you have all those in place, or you'd have to know how to go tweak the code, right? So, and then you go do the README, you grab the JSON, and the JSON is what you're going to paste in the format view thing here. So let me just take one that looks a little more normal. And let's see, resource catalog. That's kind of nice looking. This one just needs a column called link title and modified. That's all it needs. That doesn't seem right, but I'm going to try it. Okay. I'm going to grab this code. Card format and then create list. Which one do I want? Doesn't say. Okay, I'm gonna put this one in place and then we can stop. I think card format is this one. Well, no. I don't know why it's got two. I know this thing actually has the ability to just download the code too, instead of me like doing what I'm doing right here. Copy. Sorry, Amanda, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, it's kind of a pain in Slack when you have to paste a bunch of different items in a big row. Okay, so it said I need. Dun, dun, dun. This is the part of Power Hour where it's not necessarily scripted out and I'm just kind of messing around. Create list. Maybe that's the one I need. That doesn't look right. It's like code that creates a bunch of columns or something. I don't know. All right, so I got card format. I copied it. Let me go put it in the clipboard. And I put it in the list. And then I need what? KB says if you use Teams, you can add tabs at the top of channels for files, pages, etc. Yep, you're right. I'm not using Teams for Power Hour. I have 1,000 people in this Slack thing, and I really don't want to mess with Teams to do this. I'm sorry. Joe says, is a modern list the same as a modern site? Well, technically, an Office 365 group comes as modern when you create it, so you could call that a modern site. But really, it's the pages that make it a modern site. So I could even go on a site that's just like an old school team site right now and go create a new page, make it, create a new modern page. And I did this in Power Hour like a year, 6 months, a year ago or so. And then just make that page the default homepage for your site. And voila, you have a modern site. So modern site isn't really a thing. The site isn't modern. It's the pages and lists and libraries that are modern. Yeah. But a communication site is definitely modern because it's not, I don't know if you'd actually be able to take one of those new, like a communication site or an Office 365 group and make them classic. I don't know. I've never tried that, but theoretically,
I think you can.
You can, yeah, because those are just content types.
Right, yeah, and you can create the old pages still. Those are content.
Yeah, okay, yeah, Joelle's right. Because those old pages are just content types in the pages library, so you could create classic pages in there.
Yeah, just like when you go to add a page, it wouldn't do it, obviously, because it's connected to the site page, the new one. But if you went to the actual library and tried to do it and set that as homepage, you could technically do that. Reverse it back.
Cool. Well, all this, let me flip back over to my, there we go. A lot of this, the stuff with the list views, I knew I wasn't going to necessarily have time to go like deep into that because all these different samples that they have, you have to do a lot of prep work to have all the exact same column names that they're expecting, or you have to go in there and tweak the code to make the column names in the code say your column names, and it's just potentially a lot of work. So I mostly wanted to spend power hours showing you all that new tool, the column formatter, but you all go try out the list view formatter and let me know what you think. And don't forget to sign up for our Power Hour newsletter so you'll be notified about Power Hour, and you can let me know in the chat window if you didn't get the email yesterday that I sent out to let you know that Power Hour was coming. All right. Cool. We went 4 minutes over. Sorry about that. But we will, I'm not sure what we're doing next week as usual, but thanks, Joelle. It was fun.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah. Happy Halloween, everybody. And go have some lunch. Over and out.